Hey, all right. Thanks for the introduction, and thanks for Hackster for hosting this and having us on. And thanks for those of you joining my lightning talk. I trust everyone is enjoying the Hackster Impact Summit. We've seen some really cool stuff over the last couple of days. And today I want to talk about the community of hackers here and why our work is so important and how we can leverage our skills in to use industrial IoT to make sure that humanity continues to have a place on spaceship Earth. Because while industrial IoT may not be the sexiest part of IoT, it's a place where we can actually have a huge impact. Now, by way of introduction, my name is Brian Kostanich, and I am co-founder of Wilderness Labs. And we make a platform called Meadow that enables regular app developers to rapidly build secure production IoT with .NET and then maintain those devices in the field. And we have some pretty cool things to help you reach prototype in an afternoon or two, including this thing here. This is the Project Lab Board, which is a bunch of places to plug in peripherals from, Seed Studio, Adafruit, Microbus, etc. But today, what I want to talk about is something super important, and that is we are in the middle of a massive extinction event. In the richness of life all around us is collapsing. Even conservative estimates put the current extinction rate at 100 times higher than normal. Effectively, the planet is being sterilized, and this is actually the sixth major extinction on the planet. And by the way, the book of the same name by Elizabeth Colbert is amazing, so I highly recommend. And the most important or the most interesting aspect about this extinction event is that while other extinction events happen because of large events like asteroids hitting the planet or massive volcanic eruptions because of tectonic plates or something, this one has a readily identifiable source as being us, humans. And in casual conversations, we attribute much of this to climate change. But in fact, climate change is a byproduct of our impact. And there's a much larger thing that's happening that we must understand in order to have an impact on climate change. So first of all, a little bit of timeline context is helpful here. Sapiens, that is the current-ish version of thinking hominids, aka humans, are about 200,000 years old, and cities emerged only about 10,000 years ago. And of course, the Industrial Revolution got its start about 250 years ago. And the Industrial Revolution marked a massive change in the impact that humans made on the planet and marked the beginning of using machines for labor, right? Which really dramatically increased our ability to use resources. And since then, both population and carbon emissions have gone exponential, right? And because of this, the planet has undergone unprecedented change at the hands of humankind. So here's a picture of Dubai 50 years ago, and this is a picture of it today. And here's a picture of the rainforest in 1975, and just 40 years later, you can see most of it has been replaced by farms. And here's a picture of the once massive Aral Sea, and over 20, 30 years, it's been nearly completely drained for agriculture. And here's a picture looking at my hometown. This is downtown Seattle in 1880, and this is Seattle today. So from this, you can see that humans are having a massive impact. In fact, because we have been the cause of such massive planet-wide change, scientists have actually come up with a geological term to describe it. It's the Anthropocene, or the era of mankind. And this probably sounds familiar, since when we talk about climate change, we're actually talking about anthropogenic climate change. That is, mankind's effect on climate. Now, you're probably thinking, oi, Brian, this talk is a real downer. But, look, there's still a lot of hope to be had, and our future is absolutely not written in stone. And just as we've had a tremendous impact in a negative way, we can also be a force for good. And the harder we fight now, the better things will be in the future. In fact, we're seeing a number of efforts already where we're turning the tide and making a positive impact. For example, this is a picture of the Gambela River Delta in Pakistan in 2013, and 4 years later, as part of the billion tree tsunami, it looks like this. And here's a picture. This is a NASA image of CO2 pollution in America on the northeastern part of America between 2005 and 2011. And you can see that there's massive reduction here. So massive change is possible. So I want to talk about how we do that. Well, probably the biggest challenge that we face in the Anthropocene is resource usage. See, resources on planet Earth are renewable, but not infinite. Using resources faster than they can renew causes a deficit spending. And if you map that onto a yearly calendar, the day by which we spend the planet's annual budget is called overshoot day. And it's happening earlier and earlier. So getting a balanced budget where life is sustainable means that we need to massively reduce our resource usage. So how do we do that? Well, we've got two options. The first is that we use less resources per human, and the second option is to have less humans on the planet. Now, less humans on the planet is outside of the scope of this talk, but there is some good news here, and that the population growth is already slowing down, and it's likely that it will hit negative growth in the next 50 years and potentially even sooner. So the other thing that we control is resource usage per human. Now, personal initiative here, such as recycling, reusing bags, etc., is super important. And it's important because every bit helps. But it's also a drop in the ocean compared to the impact that human industry has. So consider, as an example, water usage in California. California is the breadbasket of America, and 80% of California's water that doesn't drain off into rivers and such goes to agriculture. And it's the same for pollution. In the European Union, just a small number of industrial companies are responsible for over half of the pollution. So this means that even small increases in efficiency of resource usage in industry can have a major impact. So this is where we come in, because we have an opportunity to hack the IoT revolutions. The IoT revolution. In just a few years, there will be 10 times as many non-mobile connected devices on the planet as human beings. So while the last 15 years, in tech have really centered around the mobile revolution, the next 15 years will be centered around the IoT revolution, which brings us to the point of this talk. It turns out that industry also represents about 60% of the IoT market. So while IoT promises to offer an impact across the board, we're especially aligned to make a huge impact on our biggest source of negative influence on the planet. In a sense, this is the low-hanging fruit, and we can use positive business outcomes as a lever to make these transformations happen, right? And so a framework for thinking about this is measure, act, and outcome or result. And you can come at it from either end, but the point is IoT solutions really have three business or technology pieces. Measure a thing, act on that information, and to produce an outcome. And I want to explore a couple of scenarios where we're seeing this make an impact with our customers. So for example, one is industrial machinery. So for example, let's take a CNC machine that grinds away metal to make something, right? So if we look at measuring, first we want to identify the key metrics and what they mean, okay? So let's monitor energy usage. And what does that mean? Is the motor pulling too much power? Is it time to replace it? Is there vibration and noise? Is the cutting head making chatter? Are we cutting too fast? What are the runtime hours? Is it time for a lubrication or scheduled maintenance? And then the act part of this is, okay, maybe we alert preventative maintenance notification to lubricate. Maybe we have to replace the motor because the motor's old and it's drawing too much power, right? Or maybe we need to slow the cutting head because it's going too fast and it's causing chatter. And the outcome here is less energy is used, so less resources are used and money is saved. Downtime is prevented, so money is saved again, and efficiency is increased, so money is earned. And then, of course, tuning this can mean a higher quality product, which means more customers, right? Here's another example. So logistics, let's talk about like shipping crates of bananas or something, right? So what do we want to measure? Okay, let's measure the temperature and humidity of the goods Are the bananas? What does that mean? Are the bananas rotting? Are they in an environment where they're going to last this transport shipment? And then also maybe we want to measure or location using like GNS, right? GPS, so we know where are these bananas. And and what we can do there is we can act on this information. So maybe we can prioritize routing so that these bananas get to their endpoint before they rot. Or if and this happens all the time, containers are lost in port. Well, we can pinpoint their location with GPS, right? And a lot of the outcomes here are common to what we've seen in our other example. Money saved, money earned, more customers. And these are just, a couple of examples, but the revolution is just beginning. There's a huge opportunity to make an impact here because we're heading towards a place where we can put compute in nearly everything, everywhere. And that will give us unprecedented understanding and control of the world around us. Think about the difference in our lives before and after the mobile revolution, before and after Google Maps, right? And this will allow us to steer the Anthropocene not into a disaster, but into a renaissance of rich ecosystems and life on the planet. So, maybe we don't always immediately think of industrial IoT as being the most interesting place to make an impact. But in fact, I hope that I've inspired you to think about this actually as a place where it is a place where we can make massive positive changes. And we want to help you with this. So today we're announcing our own impact program where you can submit a simple proposal for something that moves the Anthropocene in the right direction and will help you with hardware sponsorship, help you with priority engineering support to getting you to prototype. And then once you get into prototype, moving that into production with our host of partners in the production world. So if you're interested in that, please go to wildern.es/impact and apply today. And of course, again, thanks for Hackster for having us, and thanks for everyone tuning in to my lightning talk. And I hope that you enjoy the rest of the day's festivities. Thank you.